In the heart of Sunny Meadow, where the dandelions are fluffier than clouds and the streams giggle over pebbles, lived a rabbit named Rob. Now Rob wasn't just any rabbit. He wore a bright red shirt, comfy blue shorts, and had an obsession that kept him hopping day and night: the legendary golden clover. According to an old nibbled-on scroll he found under a turnip, the golden clover was no ordinary plant. It was said to grant the finder a lifetime supply of the crunchiest, sweetest carrots in the world. For a rabbit like Rob, this was the ultimate treasure. One bright morning, Rob declared, "Today's the day. I can feel it in my whiskers." He packed his adventure bag with the essentials: a half-eaten carrot for emergencies, a map he'd drawn himself which mostly looked like a squiggly line with a picture of a carrot at the end, and a tiny helmet made from an acorn shell. Safety first, after all. His first stop was to consult Barnaby the badger, the oldest and grumpiest resident of the meadow. Barnaby was sunning himself on a rock, looking like a furry striped potato. "Barnaby," Rob chirped. "The golden clover." "Seen it?" Barnaby opened one eye. "The what now?" "Rob, for the last time, it's a myth. It's a story old rabbits tell young rabbits to get them to go outside. Now, unless you have a worm for me, please hop along." Undeterred, Rob thanked Barnaby for his time, and bounded off towards Whispering Woods. The map, which he consulted upside down, led him straight into a thicket of berry bush. "Oh, berries," he exclaimed, his mission momentarily forgotten. After emerging with a purple-stained face and a very sticky shirt, he met Penelope the squirrel, who was frantically organizing her nut collection by size, shape, and level of nuttiness. "Penelope, my friend, you're quick, you see everything. Have you spotted a shimmer of gold? A four-leafed wonder?" Penelope paused, a pecan in her paws. "Gold, oh yes. I saw something shiny over by Gurgling Creek, but it was moving very fast and buzzed a lot." A clue. Rob zipped towards Gurgling Creek, his little legs a blur. He scanned the creek bank, his eyes wide. He saw yellow flowers, shiny beetles, and a very grumpy-looking frog. "Excuse me, Mr. Frog," Rob said politely. "I'm on a quest for the golden clover. It might have buzzed." The frog blinked slowly. "Buzz? The only thing that buzzes around here are the bees, and they stole my favorite lily pad. If you find a clover, I hope it's a sour one." Rob sighed. The life of a treasure hunter was filled with unhelpful frogs. He sat down feeling a bit discouraged and pulled out his emergency carrot. As he munched, he noticed something odd. The squiggly line on his map perfectly matched the shape of Gurgling Creek. He hadn't been holding it upside down after all. He'd been holding it sideways. Following the newly oriented map, the path led him to the base of the great oak, the oldest tree in the meadow. The scroll had mentioned a spot where the sun kisses the earth at noon. It was almost noon. The sunbeams were filtering through the leaves, creating a patchwork of light on the ground. Rob looked around frantically, and then he saw it. Tucked away beside a root, bathed in a perfect circle of sunlight, was a clover. It wasn't just green. It was shimmering with a light of its own, each of its 4 leaves glowing like pure solid gold. "I found it," Rob whispered, his voice full of awe. "The golden clover." He reached out a trembling paw to pick it. But just as fingers brushed the stem, a voice squeaked, "Please don't." Rob froze. He looked down and saw a tiny field mouse hiding under the clover. "This is my sunbathing spot," the mouse cried. "It's the only place in the whole meadow that gets the perfect amount of warmth without being too bright. It's my golden spot." Rob looked from the clover to the shivering mouse. He thought about the lifetime supply of crunchy carrots. He imagined mountains of them, a sea of orange goodness. But then he looked at the little mouse who just wanted a cozy place to warm his whiskers. Rob pulled his paw back. "You know," he said with a smile, "you're right. This is a perfect sunbathing spot." He broke his emergency carrot in half and offered a piece to the mouse. "My name's Rob. What's yours?" The mouse, whose name was Squeaky, gratefully took the carrot. They sat there together, sharing the snack under the shade of the great oak. Rob realized the treasure wasn't the clover itself, or the promise of endless carrots. The adventure, the friends he'd spoken to, even the grumpy ones, and this new little friend he'd made, that was the real treasure. As the sun began to set, Rob headed home. He didn't have the golden clover, but his heart felt fuller than his stomach ever could, even after a mountain of carrots. Back in his burrow, he unrolled his map. With a crayon, he drew a tiny mouse next to the great oak and crossed out the picture of the carrot at the end. Instead, he drew a picture of two friends sharing one. Because some treasures aren't meant to be kept. They're meant to be shared. And some adventures lead you to exactly what you needed, even if it wasn't what you were looking for. The legend of the golden clover was real after all. It didn't grant carrots. It granted friendship, and Rob decided that was much, much crunchier. From that day on, whenever he passed the great oak, he'd always see Squeaky sunbathing. And they'd share a story, a laugh, and sometimes, if they were lucky, a really good carrot. Thanks for watching our story today. If you enjoyed Rob's adventure, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tailies from Sunny Meadow.